Hey, it's Chloe the Dev here. I'm changing up the way I do this a little bit. I'm not numbering them anymore. Sorry, someone's building something over there. I'm not numbering them anymore, mainly because it just took too much effort to remember where I was at. So I'm just gonna write Chloe the Dev Unfiltered, and just write what happened, the biggest thing that happened in the past few days, I guess. But right now I'm at my mom's house. I lived here for the past 2 or 3 years. I can't even remember after living in, I don't even know. But most recently, I was here from January 2020 uh, till about March or May, because I was leaving Antigua. I was in Antigua before that in the Caribbean, starting a charity for the Mama J Foundation that I was starting. And I was going to the University of Windsor to study computer science, and so I needed a little buffer period. And for that period, I was living at home. So this is home. I'm here because my girlfriend Bianca also lives nearby, and she's here for a family party. But her family doesn't like me very much, so I'm not invited. But that's okay. It gives me time to kind of like go through the house, and I've been reminiscing over some old things and picking up new things that like either my mom doesn't really use that I want to take to Windsor with me, or just things that I left behind and cut down. We packed the car a month ago, when I started school, and we just drove. We packed everything we owned into one her little Pontiac Torrent or something, an old Pontiac, not that old actually, 10 years. I usually had old Jeeps like 98, 97, 96. My first car was a 96 Grand Cherokee forest green. Love that. Called her Black Shark for no reason. But that was random. But yeah, so a lot's been going on. I've been pretty busy, so I'm not going to be posting every day, obviously, like I haven't been. But I'm going to try my best to post like once a week, maybe twice a week. Maybe get it. I would love to get it where I post once a week at a scheduled interval. But for now, this will hopefully just be once a week whenever I can get up. But I have a research position. I got a research position. I am a researcher. I am officially, well, I didn't sign the contract yet. So I'll get the contract soon, whenever that happens. But yeah, I'm going to be researching F2 and scalability and security stuff. So my main two topics, I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to be sharing. But let's just say I'm going to be doing research on consensus algorithms and research on stablecoins. Consensus algorithms are simply an algorithm, so a equation, or a way to do something, an order of operations for consensus. So that for forming an idea or forming a uniformed thought or deciding what happens next, usually for blockchain. So for blockchains, for Bitcoin, for example, every 10 minutes is a block. You have proof of work as your consensus mechanism. Your proof of work basically does all that work just to get consensus on what the next block was going to be. So it's an algorithm to decide what the next block or what consensus is. So I'm going to be working on that. And then stablecoin like DAI or anything basically pegged to anything stable, so gold or another asset. But it's not that easy to do on Ethereum. You need price feeds and governance. And so the biggest coin on Ethereum right now that's decentralized would be DAI. That's run by the Maker Foundation, but it has a really big governance token. So there's some security issues and some security risks, and I'm working on some of those things. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm so pumped with who I'm working with. I want to wait till I actually sign a contract before I really go into what I'm going to be doing. But I'm getting interviewed on Wednesday by Eat the Blocks, by Julian from Eat the Blocks. I actually took his course earlier this year, actually in my buffer period while I was leaving. I left Antigua in late December, visited my son in Pennsylvania for a while, moved back to Canada, my mom's basement, and basically I spent every single day for I had no money. I had no money at all. It was $30 a month. I asked my mom for $30 to take his class. And he had a class where he said basically, build 30 dApps in 30 days. So basically a dApp is a decentralized application. So an application is like a website or Facebook, Instagram, whatever, but an application that's decentralized. There's no central server. So built on Ethereum or built on some other chain. So I was like 30 dApps in 30 days. That's a huge portfolio. Let's do it. And it's funny because I'm not much of a builder. I'm a researcher, but building that much helped me learn so much about Ethereum, so much about what it takes to build on Ethereum, that as I started learning more about what it took to build on Ethereum or what it takes to use Ethereum and for Ethereum to be useful, I got the whole picture filled in for me. And so that course was formative for me. Because I was looking at YouTube, I was looking online, but I had no money. I didn't know who to talk to. I couldn't take a class. I didn't know much. So, YouTube had all this outdated stuff, and I was doing old coursework. I started at Free Code Camp. I was doing front end stuff, and I got bored, and so I started doing Solidity. And I was doing Solidity like 0.4, and it was at 0.5 point something. And I finally found Eat the Blocks. Praise, praise the Lord. Because I was able to find like up-to-date information, and I just consumed all of it. I consumed assembly stuff. I consumed stuff about how to do front-end stuff with Ethers JS, with Vue, with Web3 JS, just because I knew that I might never use that, but if I can watch something in 10, 15 minutes and get some sort of information, and maybe follow along, code along, and I just learn more. And so I just started getting involved, and because I understood more, I started watching the ETH2 developer calls, the ETH1.x developer calls, the ETH1.0 developer calls. That led me to start watching the EIP. So in theory, you have the EIP. So EIP 1559 is a big EIP now about redoing gas prices. Or redoing how gas is priced in Ethereum. It's supposed to be this next big thing, which is great. But basically, EIP just stands for Ethereum Improvement Proposal. And so basically, there's a group from the Ethereum Foundation on YouTube that is the Ethereum Cat Herders, and it's run by Hudson Jameson. And basically, they have a group that meets every 2 weeks that has improvement proposals for the Ethereum improvement proposals. So basically, he invited me to help out with that. So I was watching that before anyways on my own. And he was basically like, hey, like, you seem to be helping out. I saw your pinned tweet that you want to be a researcher at your University of Windsor. If you want to help out with this, by all means. And I was like, yes, please. I would love to help in any way. So that was like a week ago. And then I've been doing stuff with Ben Sasson from Starkware. Not really doing stuff with him, to be honest. But I don't know much about cryptography or any of that stuff, but I kind of just started watching his what it's called. It's like something at home. Basically, he's doing like a study at home session to help people learn about cryptography and different things that Starkware is doing to scale Ethereum and make it, I guess, more useful and more scalable for more people to use. So that was pretty cool, and I kind of got involved in that and Starkware and what they're doing. And so I am working with Spelly, my partner developer in Belgium, and we're going to be doing a workshop at the end of June with Starkware. So I'm like doing stuff with Ethereum Cat Herders, all volunteer. I'm doing stuff with Starkware, which is like a dream for me. I'm so excited. I got a job with one of my dream researchers. She's a young Black woman lives in Toronto. So smart, so just technical, and just has so much knowledge there. I just want to learn from. And I think that I could bring a lot to the table in terms of my, loving to speak and loving to be around people and loving to disseminate information. I love to learn information, but one of the most important things for me is how do I disseminate it? How do I share it with others? So I'm really excited about it. I hope it goes well. Outstanding Scholars with the University of Windsor is also going well. I just applied for a position. I think a position working on like machine learning data sets and making sure that they're secure from attack vectors that would lead the user data to be leaked, which would mean that the machine learning is not secure, and therefore people would want to use the system. So I applied for that, but I would like to do my own research. Obviously, if I can do my research for the Ethereum stuff and get an advisor from University of Windsor and have it all work together, that would be great, and get published and all that. I really want to get published this year. That would be awesome. So that's the goal. And yeah, I really work on my online presence a little bit. I'm not good at like scheduling things or editing things. I just like being a little more raw. So I'm hoping that by going live with Julian, I'm able to help, like, whatever I say. Yeah, this is loud again. Whatever I say, I just hope I'm able to help other people. And through that, maybe make some connections that lead people to my channel. Again, only so that if they have questions and how they can do it themselves, because so many people are so focused on how do I build on Ethereum? But you can build on anything. Ethereum might fail in a month. And what have you learned from building on Ethereum? Um, Ethereum is amazing because I think it's open to all new ideas. It's open to anything. Build whatever you want on Ethereum. Um, but there's other things more than just building decentralized applications. And I think understanding why developers are building on the platform is very important. Just like any ecosystem, you have to know why people want to live in it or build on it or be a part of it. But that's how you build incentive structures for your ecosystem. But you still have to create that ecosystem, make it safe and make it secure. If you build a society and you make everyone want to come live there, you say it's going to be fast and great and it's going to be sunny, it's going to be warm, we're going to transportation, and then you don't have any security. People are going to leave. People are going to want that system. So I love Ethereum and I love everything that people build on it. And I enjoy what others build so much that I want to devote my time to securing the chain and securing the ecosystem that everyone gets to build on. So I'm pumped for that. Today I fixed my mom's bike. She got her boyfriend a bike for Father's Day. So I fixed her bike up so that she can ride with him. And she hasn't ridden it in like 5, 6, 10 years. I don't even know how long she's ridden it, but it works still. So that's great. I took a tent. I want to go camping this summer in Windsor somewhere, or the Windsor Essex area. I have a broken office chair, so I took that. We don't have much furniture in our place, Bianca and I in Windsor. So I took a broken office chair. There's no back to it, but the bottom works as like a stool. So it's a pretty comfy, rolly stool. And my mom's gonna braid my hair, so I'm pretty excited for that. I want to get some more length to it. Yeah, I know it looks all right, I guess. But I used to have really short hair. I'm finally growing it out, and then I had dreads. And I didn't really. The dreads were okay; they were fine. I wanted them thinner; but it was fine. Now I just kind of have it back a little bit. This is how I'm going to keep it for the most part, I think. But I do want to get a little more length, have a protective style for a bit. I'm home the next 2 weekends for Father's Day next weekend, this weekend for Bianca's sister's girlfriend's party. Why not get it braided this weekend and next and have it grow a little bit and then go from there. I've been skateboarding. Skateboarding is pretty easy for me now. I love it. I enjoy it a lot. So skateboarding. What else have I been doing? I've met some new friends in the Windsor area, which has been great. This guy must be building a fence or something. I don't know what this guy's doing, but it's loud. So loud. It's funny because part of my inspiration for doing this is like Julian from Meet the Blocks. When he first started his channel, he just wanted to get information out to other people. He wanted to get his name out to other people. And I didn't know what to say. This guy is so loud. I know he's working. So like he's working. I understand. But like I'm trying to do work too. Not really work, actually. This is a hobby for me. Most things in life are hobbies for me. The reason I want to research is because the one thing in life I think I could do for a living is learn about Ethereum and teach others. That's like the one thing I can do. Everything else to me I do for fun, because if no one watches this, I enjoyed it. And that's all that really matters to me. I enjoy just doing things, because a year from now, someone might see this and it might help them realize that, hey, they can just go on Twitter and go on YouTube and just learn everything and then just talk to people and just go to webinars and they can get a job in this. If you're from Canada, or maybe you can get, like, I have a master's degree in sports psychology. My undergraduate degree is in sport management. I was a PhD candidate for clinical psychology at the University of Utah. So I was in Antigua in the Caribbean, cleaning up the beaches, cleaning up the streets, and saving stray dogs a few months ago, like literally less than 5 months ago, 6 months ago. So, and now I'm a Ethereum researcher. So, I mean, it took a lot of work before that. In Antigua, I was learning Solidity. In Antigua, I was learning, how to code and how to build websites and stuff. And I've been in the ecosystem since 2016, late 2016, which is not that long, but I was in it day to night, every day, regardless of whether I was getting paid to do it. Not to toot my own horn at all, because I am nobody. I am nobody. I'm literally just a person that loves to help others and loves Ethereum because it's an open system that where anyone's welcome, and that to me is the point. So the next goal for me, I still have school, so I'm doing that. I'm gonna start researching. So I'm already, doing research now. More just very high level, just reading research papers and articles and the stuff I've already been doing, but in a more refined area. So before I was researching everything, where now I'm pretty much focusing on school and then these two topics, and then other like Starkware topics like cryptography, zero knowledge proofs, Starks, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the next goal. So this week is interview on the Wednesday and all that. Hopefully, I get the job to start soon. I would love to get started. Just know how much I'm getting paid. Not that it matters, but it's nice to know like what you can expect to do, because I want to get a new guitar, a classical guitar to play. I have a Ovation Adams. So I'll show this on live one day. And I want to get a classical guitar, electric guitar, keyboard, and a cello. I cannot play cello. I can dabble on keyboard, and I can play like ukulele and stuff. But I left my ukulele in Antigua, so I don't have that. That's my voice correct. I don't have that with me anymore. And my electric guitar left in Florida. I gave it to my little nephew. I don't have that anymore. Most things I give away. So, but except for the PS5, I give my PS4 away and my old Pixel book. But I have a new Pixel book. I give shit away a lot. Oh, I give stuff away a lot. Anyways, so yeah, that's right now. This guy's nailing away again. Nailing away. What do I have? Oh yeah. And so the next goal after that is to open up, to make some money, get paid, and open up a art gallery in crypto voxels, where I want to showcase some NFT art that will encompass my poetry as spoken word to me playing guitar for now, maybe piano or cello in the future. The money that is raised. Oh, thank you, Bianca. Thank you. The money that is raised from it will go towards. I can't even remember. See, now I'm distracted by Bianca. Thank you very much, very much. I have a few different ideas what the money is going to go towards. I have the idea where pretty much the money just goes towards artists. Pretty much all just goes towards charity and supporting artists. But then, the gallery will keep 10% of the profits, or 1%. I haven't decided whether 1%, 10% of the profits, but basically we'll help artists basically get their work digital, get it into a gallery, help sell their art, and then 10% of that money will stay in the gallery and basically will go towards gaining decentralized finance yields. So whether it stays in Ethereum, whether it gets transferred to DAI or whatever, either way, that DAI will gain interest in over time. So right now, the current yields for safe yield are around 2 to 5%. And then if you want to use more like, curve finance, you might get yields increase above 10%, so 10 to 15%, depending on what's going on. So depending on the security of the gallery, which probably wouldn't be that high, I'd probably want to increase yields for artists and not really care too much about security. So there'd be high centralization within the gallery. I would control where the gallery's assets were stored, or I would control which smart contract the gallery's funds were stored in and getting assets, but all the value that was accrued from the yield would go towards artists who either people who either bought the art or artists who either had art in the stores. So even if your art didn't get sold, we would come up with a generally fair price for this art, which will probably be generally generic pricing. I think it's to be easy so that, hey, if everything in this gallery costs $50, that will go directly to the artist. Let's say $5, $400 goes to them, $5 goes to us. That $5 stays in with us. Whoever owns that art will get that money. Even if the art doesn't sell from the artist, that artist will get paid just for creating. So the idea for me is that if we select art from the gallery, it's almost as if I am buying that art from the artist, simply because, once that art gets sold, that person who bought it will forever get paid. But the way things kind of work, so will the artist forever get paid the way that I want to do it. So the idea is that the way I want to create NFTs is so that artists get paid just for creating. So, you could have a simple identifier. So let's say you had an NFT where they already have it now, where basically every time an NFT gets sold, 10% of the sale price goes back to the original artist, which I think is super cool. Because you can, but what if there was a certain amount of that resale, like say 1%, that was tied to the art, and stayed with the art forever? And the idea would be that amount of money can only be taken out of the art if the original owner owned it let's say after a certain amount of time. But the idea would be that originally, let's say I bought some art off somebody and they got 10%. Well, they would actually keep 9% they could spend, and then 1% would stay within my art. So say I sold it for $100, $1 would stay with the art and gain interest forever. And so that art would gain, let's say, 1 penny a year in value, or 1 to 10 to 15 pennies forever, though, a year. So let's say you made 10 cents a year on that art. Well, the next time it's sold, it might sell for $1,000. And so, the artist would still get their 10% or their 9%, whatever. So they get $90, but now $10 would stay with the art. And so that now there'd be, $10 in the artwork that was always getting interest going back to the artist. And in my opinion, it's just a little way to incentivize artists to create even if the art doesn't get sold. Because in this case, let's say your art sells for $1 million one day, you get your 10%, that's awesome. But it doesn't sell for 50 years because it just sits there and someone forgets about it. Well, instead of never getting paid again, what if 1% of that $1 million was sitting in that artwork and was always gaining you interest forever? Obviously, forever is a long time. You'd want to build in mechanisms where, let's say after 10 years of that artwork, whoever owned it got half and the artist got half, or, some way to make sure that, so because the interest would go towards the artist at all times, but the actual value in the art would stay. So I think, you could have a cool way, you could have art that expires at a certain point in time. So you could say, you know what, this art expires in 10 years. So in 10 years, whoever holds this art will get the underlying value, but the artist will always get the payments over those 10 years. So now artists can say, you know what, I think that art's going to be valuable for at least 25 years. I'm going to make this art. You could even put your own money into it, $50 into this art, sell it for $100, and then over time it would gain value. I think going too long on this type of stuff isn't a great idea, simply because it's like this stuff is locked in stone. And so if you try and say, okay, you know what, we're gonna say, okay, 10 years locked up. Okay, what happens if in 1 year there's a change in Ethereum that's not backwards compatible and breaks, smart contracts? Then you lost your money. So I want to make something very simple, but something that I have control over, that I can change. So I think something very, very simple is like, so my NFTs are going to be more than just visual. They're going to be auditory, visual. They're going to be MP3s with visuals, MP4s, I guess. I don't even know what I'm truly planning on doing. But also within that, there's a DAO is basically a decentralized autonomous organization. Basically, it's a company that is run by shareholders completely, where all profits go to shareholders, all decisions are made by shareholders, and anyone can buy shares and anyone can sell shares anytime. And the price of the shares just basically fluctuate based on demand of those shares by anyone in the community that wants to purchase or sell them. But there's a DAO for music. There's about 6 people that are part of it. I want to buy at least 1 share. I think it'd be really cool to get musical artists to create music NFTs, or poetry artists to create poetry NFTs, and start selling that art. So, for example, there's riots going on and protests and Black Lives Matter. There's so much art being created. But what if that art was an NFT and was sold for, if you lock up your die for a month, you lock up 1,000 die for a month, and you can, have access to this poem NFT forever, right? So you show your support. And the idea, a lot of times, in my opinion, is NFTs are almost like badges of showing support. Like, I put $1,000 towards this support for a month. I got an NFT. Ooh, it's some really cool art, really cool music. It's poetry. Make it cool. Make it worth something. Because someone is losing that money. Even if they can withdraw that money back in a month and get their money back, they lost opportunity cost, right? So that money could have been used somewhere else, and they could have doubled it. Like, man, my brother's a really good margin trader. So in a month, he doubled his Bitcoin account, or his public account anyways. So he went from 0.1 Bitcoin to 0.2 Bitcoin in a month. That's great trading. So it's kind of the same thing here. It's like, that $1,000 could have been used by someone and doubled or tripled or quadrupled, who knows, or it could have went down, right? But the idea is that money's locked up. So there's opportunity cost for that money that you have to make sure you're giving someone value. But if they can get back their money back, that value doesn't have to be as large. So that art now, instead of the art having to be worth $1,000, art can be worth $10 or $50, right? And someone can be like, okay, you know what? I'll gain $50 in art to lose $1,000 access for a month. After the month, I get my $1,000 access back, and I keep my art. That's pretty cool. And you could also assume that, what if, you paid $1,000, and what if you got back $1,005 plus the art? You can create different incentive structures. Part of that money, instead of being in a simple yield that's safe, you could have some of that money in a higher risk yield or in a lower risk yield. So, buying art could actually be a financial investment because, for that month of opportunity cost lost, my DeFi yield that I could have been getting, that the company is getting or whatever, or the artist is getting, that I'll get back or whatever, or that they're using, they could be using that in a trading bot that, that nets them 2x over the month, let's say, and they can give back a portion of those profits if they worked. I love Ethereum because I think of crazy ideas and I'm like, someone's going to build this. Someone's going to build all of this. I know. And my hope is to make the chain secure enough for all of this to be explored. So many amazing experiments on Ethereum, and so many geniuses and smart people that I just want to help flourish the next generation of young geniuses to build. And I hope they build on something that's open and decentralized and allows everyone in. And in my opinion, Ethereum is that for now. The pool's open, so I might go swimming, but I don't think the heater's on. So I'm going to turn the heater on, I think, if I go swimming tomorrow, but we're leaving to go back to Windsor tomorrow, so maybe not. I'm going to probably go downstairs, shoot and blast some music. I'm in the mood to listen to some loud music. I can't do that in Windsor because we live in like an apartment, but here I live in a house, so I can just blast my music. Hope you're all doing well. I'll go live again probably Wednesday afternoon sometime to talk about how things have been going since then, just with school and with the research position and with the interview on Wednesday morning. I'm pretty excited about. I'm more excited about it because from the beginning, when I met Julian on like YouTube, like I watched his videos, I always just thought I wanted to be like this person and just teach people and help people. And he's had people on his channel recently a lot, and he's like trying to grow his channel. So any ability to be a part of what he's doing, helping people, is great. And if anyone ever just wants to know how to become a researcher, how to go, how to get into school, I've been to so many different schools. I've been to like 6 universities. I've been to like 3 or 4 high schools, more than 5 elementary schools. I've been to a lot of schools all over the world. So for universities, I've been to universities in England, I've been to universities in, States, Canada. So they're all pretty much the same. And a lot of times all you need to get into a university, especially for computer science, where a lot of your studying is online, and it's just about passing the class and getting the paperwork so that you can say that you're part of a university. If anyone has any questions about how to get into researching or how to get into like the back end of stuff, not only the front end of stuff, I would love to talk to people. I am all about back end engineering. I'm all about, how to scale things, layer 2 solutions, privacy solutions, all that, clients, and I love that kind of stuff. Not so much into the how to make something look pretty, how to make a website look good. That's not me. That's my girlfriend. Bianca's great at that. So if you have any questions about making things look pretty, ask her. If you want to make something work well, ask me. Although she's pretty good at that too. So, but I'm gonna head off now. It's been way too long of a conversation. I like doing these to get all my ideas out, get all my topics out, remember what happened. I have a horrible memory, so just having this to remember what happened in the day, remember what happened in the week, really does help me. I'm going to play some guitar today, probably too, write some songs. And I've been really inspired. I haven't written in like 6 years, but I'm really inspired. God has been blessing my life in crazy ways recently, over and over again. So I just want to enjoy the life that I have to live and love on as many people as possible. And so I hope everyone that ever sees this is having a wonderful day. If you don't see this, I hope you're having a great day too. Feel free to like, feel free to subscribe. And hey, I'll always end with this. Feel free to subscribe and mute me because I need 1,000 subscribers to go live on my phone. And clicking a button on my phone to go live would be easier than going live on my computer. So I'm a bit ADD. So I would like that option. So I will, with no shame, ask for subscribers simply to get to 1,000 so I can go live on my phone. So, thank you, everyone. Please watch all my videos on 2x speed. Don't watch it, on 1x or anything, or skip ahead. But love you all. Hope you're all doing well. God bless. And this is me, chloethedev. Love you all.